I'm Randy Suarez, aka Silver Crow, and today we're going to do another video by Sunny V2. And this time, excuse me, rappers who went broke in the stupidest way. Stupidest way. Well, ways. And let's just say I remember some of this. Some over the years who went broke and got money back. So, well, the rest I have no clue. So all I can say is, let's get started.
Filing for bankruptcy, 50 Cent was spending $108,000 per month to rent an 18-bedroom mega mansion,
Jesus.
while T-Pain's bankruptcy was so brutal that by the end of it, he had to borrow money just to buy Burger King.
Damn.
However, let's begin by talking about DMX, who had to file for bankruptcy on 3 separate occasions as
Jesus.
he couldn't afford child support. You see, DMX had 17 children with 11 different women.
Jesus, man, dude. Well, then again, I think Nick Cannon's going for his record. Because Nick Cannon has 11 kids, and it's like he ain't stopping yet. And if DMX, by the time of his death, has 17 kids, that's insane. Hold on.
And almost every child resulted in some kind of lawsuit or child support requirement. For example, DMX was sued for $1.5 million worth of child support in 2008 after a genetic test confirmed that he was the father of a previously unclaimed baby, which when combined with his declining music career, resulted in his first bankruptcy filing. 4 years later in 2012, DMX was sued by a different ex-partner for a further $1 million worth of child support, and a year after this lawsuit, he'd filed for bankruptcy a second time.
Damn!
His third bankruptcy would occur in 2016, during which it would be discovered that DMX had racked up a further $1.7 million worth of unpaid child and family support, which accompanied $950,000 in bank debt and $1.7 million worth of tax debt. Since he had $0 in his bank account, DMX was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the child support, a further year in prison for the unpaid taxes, and was also ordered to pay the government $2.29 million in restitution after.
So he was sentenced basically a year and a half in prison and had to pay that much money back. $2.3 million in restitution for tax evasion. Jesus, DMX.
He was released from his time behind bars. However, DMX never had the chance to pay the amount back in full, as he died in April 2021. And despite his extensive family tree, DMX never wrote a will, meaning that his family was still involved in money-related legal battles even after he was dead and buried.
Damn. And I think, I'm not really sure. I'll probably look it up after I get done watching his video, the cause of his death. And it's about to be 2 years since this happened, and all I heard was overdose. Like, he overdosed. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not really sure. That's why I'm going to look it up after this. I'm done making this video. So
Tiger was certainly better at managing his child support payments, although he definitely had a weakness when it came to luxury spending. After cultivating his career as a successful rapper, Tiger's name entered news headlines after he'd purchased a $200,000 Mercedes Maybach for his girlfriend, while being $480,000 behind in rental payments on a luxury Malibu home.
The one thing I will never understand to this day is why you want a big house. If you're paying that much, see, excuse me, if you want a big house, get something that's more reasonable. You know, something that you could easily add on to it maybe years later. Something. Or have a house built for you. But it's like what I do like to visit a luxury mansion to see how it looks inside and stuff like that. Okay, that's cool, but I would never stay inside a big house. Just give me. I mean, it's one of those things like it makes your head tilt. Like, this house is way too big for one person.
As a result, Tiger was sued by his landlord, although he'd failed to show up to court as he was on holiday in Turks and Caicos. Yet this situation wasn't the only example of Tiger spending big in one area while being financially behind in another. For example, in 2016, while shopping for a new Bentley, Tiger's Ferrari 458 was repossessed in the parking lot as Tiger hadn't been paying for the loan. Despite this, Tiger would go on to purchase another Mercedes Maybach, as well as a Land Rover, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, and a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, all of which were repossessed for non-payment, while he was seen looking at a brand new Lamborghini. In addition to this, Tiger was sued by a second landlord for $181,000 after once again missing rental payments in 2016, which was followed by a third property-related lawsuit in 2020, where Tiger had racked up over $200,000 in damages and unpaid rent on yet another rental property. It was then revealed that Tiger was being court-ordered to pay for $200,000 worth of unpaid jewelry, which accompanied the accusation by his ex-girlfriend Black China that he'd been missing child support payments. And just to add a cherry on top of the cake, while all of this was going down, Tiger was in $890,000 worth of tax debt to the government. Despite all of this, Tiger is still seen flexing a lavish life on social media, which is a luxury unavailable to...
Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was him. I mean, you're asking for trouble. Literally asking for trouble. Anyway.
Rap producer Scott Storch, who blew through $70 million in less than 3 years.
Damn,
Scott
dude!
earned this money by producing for some of the biggest names in music, including Kanye West, Dr. Dre, and Jay-Z. Yet Scott Storch's insane net worth began to diminish after he'd purchased an insane supercar collection.
30 cars, including Bugattis and Ferraris and all that kind of stuff.
As well as a $10.5 million mansion where he housed more than 20 staff, including a boat captain, just in case he wanted to go out on his yacht.
The captain was on full-time staff?
Yeah.
In case you want to take the boat out?
Yeah.
And the boat was how many bedrooms?
7.
7-bedroom boat, worth about how much?
20 million.
20 million.
Scott went on to explain just how much this lifestyle was costing him.
My monthly overhead for my household employees was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million a month I was spending.
And that if he continued to work, there wouldn't have been any problems, although this isn't what he would do.
It went from me working and delivering to doing drugs and not going to the studio.
I just stopped working, and then I got depressed and jaded.
As mentioned, Scott stopped making music and instead began to get addicted to the nightlife in Miami. And with no money coming in, plus $1 million a month going out, it was only going to be so long before Scott hit zero. By 2009,
damn.
just 3 years after having a net worth of $70 million, Scott had filed for bankruptcy. 6 years later, Scott would file for bankruptcy a second time, claiming to have a grand total of $3,600 of assets to his name, $100 in cash, $500 in clothing, and a $3,000 watch. Most shocking, his music companies are valued at $0, and in 2014 he made a grand total of only $10,000. Throughout this hardship, Fat Joe was one of the only rappers to keep their friendship with Scott, possibly because Fat Joe went through a similar situation himself. Fat Joe had earned...
Yeah. Okay, that's another one I did remember. I heard a lot by that time when the whole thing with Fat Joe.
$1.18 million in 2007, $1.28 million in 2008, $265,000 in 2009, and $630,000 in 2010. However, despite having made this $3.3 million in only 4 years, Fat Joe failed to pay taxes on it. He was able to come up with $718,000 and had also done extensive charity work. However, this wasn't enough to satisfy the judge, who sentenced Fat Joe to 4 months in prison. Despite taking personal responsibility for his actions by stating, "There was a lot going on in the years that I didn't file my taxes, but it was my responsibility." Less than 4 years later, Fat Joe entered news headlines again after the IRS revealed that he still owed them $1.1 million in taxes. However,
Jesus. Hey, the IRS is serious about their money. That's why it's always good around this time of year to start filing your taxes. Hell, get started by the end of the year or a few months before the year, the new year comes around. Start filing your taxes because you may never know who you might owe money to. To be honest, here's the thing. Exactly about to be 2 years ago since this incident happened that I've been getting a letter from the IRS in my hometown, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? Urgent to call them. Turns out the people that I was filing my taxes with lied on my taxes, And they asked me, did I know about this? No. They lied and said that I had a gardening company. Like, I know zero anything about gardening. And they say, well, they say that you collected you get 500 5,000 every time you get 5,000 every year. I'm like, no, I don't. I get way less than that every year. And I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I have no gardening company, no landscaping, no none. So because of that, I have to search for another way to file my taxes. And that was insane. I'm like, they asked me, are you sure? Turns out they've been lying on other people's taxes, and they most likely are shut down as of now. Excuse me for a second. Okay, better.
This number was absolutely nothing in comparison to Fat Joe's friend Lil Kim, who owed almost 4 times more and became, quote, too poor to file for bankruptcy. Lil Kim wasn't nearly as successful as some of the other rappers featured on this list.
I disagree, but her fall was a lot harder in a way, because as you can recognize the other rappers, you can hardly recognize Lil Kim. You know, I still remember back in the mid 90s all the way to the mid 2000s, she was a sex symbol in a way. She was literally a sex symbol, and you see a lot of people, doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, pictures of Lil Kim on the wall and everything, basically naked and all this other stuff. I'm like, so I do remember. She had a extensive good career, but I knew soon as after a little bit of the mid 2000s, she just dropped off.
However, this didn't stop her from purchasing a $2.3 million mansion back in 2002, notably with the help of a mortgage. Throughout the 2000s, Kim's music career slowed dramatically, and by 2018, Kim was filing for bankruptcy, as she still owed the full $2 million on her property, despite the 16 years that had passed. In addition to this, Kim now owed $1.85 million to the government for 13 years worth of unpaid taxes, which accompanied a further $185,000 in unpaid legal fees. The bankruptcy became even worse after discovering that by 2018, Kim was earning a comparatively small $18,000 per month, of which $2,000 went to staff, another $2,000 went to clothing, and $10,000 went to travel fees, meaning she had less than $4,000 per month to dig herself.
Here's the thing, and if you're gonna be a baller, no matter what you are, who you are, learn how to budget. Because at the end of the day, hey man, you can get out the hood, but you can't take the hood out yourself. You learn how to budget what you got. You spending, first of all, I get on the staff. I understand. So I understand a bit on the traveling fees, a bit. But clothes, man, I get you want to look good. I get that you want to wear the finer things of that design, whatever you design the company you're with, and I get that. Also, probably would help if you went to charity stuff for the people, of the design. You might end up getting some free crap. You may never know. But $2,000 for clothing, knowing that she technically is from the hood, budget. People forget that. You learn how to budget. Come on.
Out of $4 million worth of debt. Somehow Lil Kim managed to, quote, get her finances into good shape, and her bankruptcy filing was dismissed. However, MC Hammer wasn't quite so lucky.
Yeah, definitely.
Despite having the 5th best-selling hip-hop album of all time, which sold 17 million copies and featured songs such as You Can't Touch This, MC Hammer wasn't able to stay out of financial trouble. He bought more than 17 luxury cars, a private jet, 2 helicopters, and 20...
See, he's another person who went... Once he got more money than he thought he could do with, he went crazy with it. When you shouldn't. You should always invest. If you start making big bucks like that, invest it in something. Be smart about it. He was not smart. He's like, oh, I got big money. Always want things I always wanted. See, me personally, yes, I do want a private jet, but I want to invest in something that can be more profitable in the long run, and I get more money coming in than it is coming out.
One racehorses. Some of the horses were valued at around $1 million. Most of his expenses, however, were on his home. He bought a property in Fremont, California for $12 million and spent another $30 million on renovations to turn it into his dream home. He added a bowling alley, basketball court, baseball field, recording studio, movie theater, 17-car garage, tennis courts, and 2 swimming pools to the 40,000 square foot mansion. One of the pools was shaped like his signature baggy pants that came to be known as hammer pants. He added several marble statues of himself throughout the property and installed a gold hot tub in his bedroom. And to keep everything running smoothly, he employed a staff of nearly 200 people on the property, which cost him an estimated $500,000 a month. Unsurprisingly, less than 5 years later, MC Hammer had filed for bankruptcy, at which point it had been revealed that he hadn't only spent his entire $70 million fortune, but had also taken on a further $13 million in loans, which had been borrowed from over 200 different lending institutions. Despite having spent a total of $42 million on his California dream home, the property resold for only $6.5 million. However, if we're on the topic of expensive homes being repossessed by the bank, we need to talk about Birdman, who's ranked as the 15th richest rapper in the world with a net worth of $110 million. But this is what makes Birdman's story unique. If he was worth over $100 million, why was his Miami mansion being repossessed by the bank for non-payment? Birdman had purchased the home back in 2012 for $4.
When it comes to Birdman, I understand that this man's one hell of a worker. I mean, over the years, this man been busting his ass. But
$13.5 million, yet by 2017 a foreclosure suit had been filed by the bank, and quote, all personal items within the home, including platinum records gracing the walls, a pool table, and dozens of pairs of shoes, were all confiscated and placed in storage. The mansion was eventually sold by the bank for $10.85 million in July 2020. However, Birdman's lawyer has come out to explain the foreclosure, stating that it was the result of illegal loan terms set by the bank, so perhaps take Birdman's bankruptcy with a grain of salt. However, there's no ambiguity around how T-Pain went broke, as he's now come on multiple podcasts to explain just how brutal his bankruptcy was. T-Pain had built up a net worth of over $40 million at his peak in 2007, with all of his closest rap friends advising him that as long as he kept rapping, the money would keep on coming in.
which is terrible advice. Like, seriously. To be honest, it's one of those things that it was a bad timing. When he got that advice, he also got he also got the whole issue with Usher about him singing. And compared to from that and him getting that advice, bad timing all around.
Everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's just money all the time. Nothing bad's ever going to happen. Your family's not going to come after you. Just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
For this reason, his spending began to get out of control.
I bought my Bugatti.
Yep. And instead of... He's smarter with his money now because he knows what to do with it. I always loved T-Pain. But hearing that he went from... Over the years, he went from broke to rich to broke, now back to a stable rich thing that he can balance with. This man went through a rough hanger of it, man.
Bought it for $2.1 million.
$2.1 million.
And then you, very shortly thereafter, you sold it for, all they gave you was $800,000.
Yeah. Damn.
So it was like renting a car for $1.3 million. Yeah.
With the purchase of his Bugatti accompanying a $400,000 chain and houses for his workmates.
I got this house on it. I got this other house for my assistants and, all my runners and my producers and stuff. So we bought a house after that, and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it.
Which was extra bad as T-Pain never even checked in on how much money he had.
I didn't want to know because I was led led to believe that this is just it's only gonna grow. Because these rappers told me that I'm just gonna make money forever. It's just gonna keep going up and up.
In the process, T-Pain began to create less music, and within a few years, his accountant was advising him that he was almost out of money.
My accountant was like, dude, you're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not.
And while T-Pain seemed confident that he had plenty of cash left, reality set in for him after he'd have to borrow money just to buy food.
When you say you was broke, you had like $0 broke?
I had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
What's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
40 million.
However, T-Pain was lucky to get away with a loss of only 40 million, as the final person on our list makes this number look like loose change, 50 Cent. 50 didn't only release the 10th best-selling American hip-hop album of all time, but he also made over $100 million on a vitamin water investment, plus a further $78 million from a luxury underwear deal. In the late 2000s, 50 Cent made an estimated $300 million in only 2 years, so when he'd announced that he was filing for bankruptcy in mid-2015, with debts totaling over $32 million, the entire world was thinking the same thing. How did this happen? Well, after 50 Cent uploaded a sex tape with Rick Ross's girlfriend, 50 was successful.
Mr. Curtis, I don't think that was smart, man. I don't you messing with her. I don't think that's smart, bro. Damn. Oh shit. Oh damn. Oof.
Sued for $7 million, which accompanied another court order for 50 Cent to pay $17 million to a headphone manufacturer after one of their collabs went sour. 50 Cent's clothing company G-Unit Clothing then fell out of the spotlight, which accompanied the closing of his movie company G-Unit Productions, as well as his boxing company SMS Promotions. Throughout the whole process, the global financial crisis had taken a toll on the value of 50 Cent's investments, and by 2015 he was earning a comparatively small $185,000 per month. You could certainly argue that this was enough for 50 to get back on his feet. However, $108,000 of this monthly income was going toward an 18-bedroom mega mansion, while the remaining $77,000 was going toward menial expenses such as his gardener, with bankruptcy documents revealing that 50 Cent still owed money to his stylist, fitness coach, and even his barber. Despite this, he began to troll on social media with posts such as this one, spelling out the word broke with $100 bills, and within 2 years, 50 Cent had paid back $23 million worth of his $32 million debt. Jesus. 50 Cent eventually got back to zero, and according to Google, has built up a net worth of $40 million over the last 5 years.
Yeah, remember, homie is technically owner of Sally Mae, and I still remember the video that Shirley King made. You can send the whole G in it. But anyway, what I guess I learned from this video is, if you're gonna make this amount of money, especially big money, be smart about it. Be very smart about it. Don't go over lavish things. If I ever do that, I know I'm messed up if I ever do that, because I'm not an over lavish guy. I'm never into that. That does not amaze me. Ironically, these amaze me. And it's one of those things that I would love to go to a fancy restaurant. I need to dress for the part. And I don't mind that every once in a while, but I'm not an over lavish guy. So whoever's watching this reaction video, and if y'all have, let's say, a lot of money, be smart with it. Just be smart with it. Invest. You know, you don't have to get a big freaking house. Just get a house. Just get a house. Just get a house. A house that is a dream home, not a gigantic ass mansion when nobody else is gonna be in. So anyway, if y'all like this video, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and subscribe to Silent V2. I will leave the original link to the video down below so y'all can watch it uninterrupted. So till next time, peace out.